You're watching Detroit on Deck. Here are your hosts, Dave Cesefske and Josh Clark.
What's up, everybody? Detroit on Deck. Dave Cesefske, Josh Clark. Josh has got his phone out. He's our Woj. He's waiting for trades to come in, right, Josh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Well, hopefully this lag works its way out here. We got one going on, but it will just work through it. Why don't we start off with the NBA trade deadline with the Pistons? They did make a trade for Simone Fontecchio. We just figured out how to say that last name and first name for me. This is a guy that can really stretch the floor. He's a great shooter. He's a young guy. He's a former first-round pick. We just gave up, as we were talking about before the show, an expiring contract in Kevin Knox, which that poor guy's just been thrown around. But clearly, he's not an NBA, starting caliber type of guy. Maybe he's a rotation. I don't know. But I love the pickup. What's your thoughts, man?
I like the pickup too. I believe we gave up a second-round pick in that deal.
We did.
Well.
Which when is a second-round pick ever usually?
I mean, the most recent case, honestly, is probably Draymond. Who was actually panned out.
Right.
And that was basically a first-round pick anyway. He was what, 35th?
Yeah, and that was a while ago, right? So.
Right. So yeah, they hardly ever work out, and when they do, yeah.
Yeah.
But no. I like the pickup, like you said. One thing the Pistons do lack is shooting. We have some shooting on the team, but Monty just doesn't play him. So maybe Monty will play this young kid and help Kate out a little bit.
I sure hope so, man. We need to do that. Now, unfortunately, that's one of the sad deals that happened is we traded Monty Morris. Which, here's the thing. Here's my question. I'll say what the trade was, and then I kind of have a bone to pick with Piston management. Here is obviously Monty. He's a hometown kid. I believe he's from Flint. Didn't last long here. Yeah. He was traded to the Timberwolves for two players, a second-round pick. The players, obviously, in that deal is Fontecchio, who we picked up. But it looks like I'm saying a different trade, my bad, is Morris we sent to the Timberwolves in exchange for Shake Milton, Troy Brown Jr., and a second-round pick. The second-round pick just thrown in there. Before we assess the trade, my issue with it is this, is Troy Weaver puts together this team, and before you get a chance to see the man on the court, he's played, 4 games? He just blew it up. So basically you're saying your free agent signing was just not worth anything. I don't understand the vision of this team, and I don't think he has one.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's something I never really thought about, honestly, with him being a free agent acquisition this last off season, him being injured most of the year. In my opinion, he's probably one of the top 2, 3, 4, 6 mans in the NBA. Typically give you 10 to 14 points a night. He plays good, solid defense. He'll dish out 4 or 5 assists. So yeah, he's definitely some good bench depth for the Pistons, which they also lack at that position.
And he can start in a pinch too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. He did that a lot in Denver for Jamal Murray when Murray was out. So
and played good ball.
Definitely got the experience. So yeah, it's kind of head scratching in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you though. I don't think he has a vision at all for this team. I think they just need to blow it up and.
Yeah.
And the first thing I'm doing if I'm ownership is I'm getting rid of the general manager.
Yeah, he's been a disappointment. He makes all these trades, but like we said, he's just no vision, man. I have no idea why they're not playing Sasser. The kid is shooting lights out, playing great defense. Why is he not getting more playing time? Why was Killian Hayes getting more playing time? I did see a story. It was from the offseason, and it basically said that when Monty Williams came in, he said, hey, I want to work with this kid. I believe I can do something with him. Clearly, he doesn't have game, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, or a basketball fazant to figure out that this guy can't play. He's not any good, man. He couldn't score in France, and he can't score now in the NBA. So it's not going to change.
Yeah, no, Killian. I think that experience needs to be over with.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can find a partner before the 3 p.m. deadline tomorrow. To get him out of town. I heard the Grizzlies were kind of interested in him, so hopefully, I'll take a bag of chips for him at this point.
I mean, he has to be traded, and I'm like, man, that's quite ballsy of you when you're not any good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. His camp reached out and said that. I'm like, good, because all of Detroit doesn't want you to be there. So I mean, it's just.
Yeah. I think the fan base in Detroit has been done with this kid now for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I never seen it, man. I just never seen anything. But we'll see what happens in the rest of the trade deadline. I mean, I haven't seen big rumors this trade deadline in terms of like big names on the move or anything like that.
The one name I will say to keep an eye out for is Atlanta Hawks' DeJounte Murray.
That is true.
He was actually benched tonight, so I'm thinking there might be something in the works.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so that'd be the one name I would say to look out for.
Where do you think? Where do you think he fits in at? I mean, obviously anywhere, but like, I don't think Detroit's getting him. And there was rumors early on, but
right, it depends on the role that he wants. I mean, does he want to contend for championship, or does he want to put up 25 a night?
Well,
you know what I mean, so it really depends on what role he wants. I mean, he's got money, so he doesn't really need the money. It's like, do you want to win, or do you want to, be the star?
Yeah, clearly it didn't work out for him with Trae Young in Atlanta. It just, I mean, Atlanta's got other issues, obviously. I don't understand it because they got some talented guys there, but maybe Trae Young's just not the guy you build your organization around. Maybe he's not that guy. I mean, we know he's not Luka. We've seen Luka just take off. Which, while we're on the NBA conversation, we know the man's crazy, Kyrie Irving, but at the same time, when that guy wants to play like he did last night, nobody can stop him. Best crossover in the game. I mean, he was dominant.
Yeah, no, Kyrie, I mean, it's just, he's just filthy side to side. Like, his side to side movement is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think there's anybody in the history of the game that I can think of that has that type of side-to-side wiggle and acceleration at the same time. It's crazy to see, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you're talking about slippery and offensively and who had like a shake like that, maybe like Jamal Crawford, but Jamal Crawford was never the type of player that Kyrie was because Kyrie did it in the big moments too. And in my opinion, watching him play last night, when he's actually in a game, he hasn't missed a step. He's still as good as he's ever been.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, another guy to throw out there, honestly, in my opinion, would be Jason Williams. I mean, White Chocolate was nice. Like, he was so underrated.
Smooth.
Just because of the point guards in his era, he was so underrated, but his handle was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they went a different direction with Mike Bibby, and Bibby did a great job too. But Williams, when he had that elbow pass and he busted onto the scene, I mean that guy was something else. I think a lot of people, it gets lost with, what he could do really from the perimeter as well. The guy could shoot. He was a great player all around. That's a fun team. That's one of those teams where you mentioned where you're like best teams that never won a championship. Obviously the Blazers are always in there, right? But that team's got to be in the conversation.
Shaq and Kobe held down quite a few teams. Honestly.
Right.
You got the Kings, you got the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Heck, even Garnett and the Timberwolves back in the day, I believe they made it to a conference finals.
Oh, man. I tell you what, though, back in the day, that Trailblazers team, I know they got a lot of slack, but like, J.R. Ryder, they had Rasheed Wallace, they had Bonzi Wells. I mean,
Ruben Patterson,
Damon Stoudemire,
Kobe Stopper,
Ruben. That's hilarious. The Kobe Stopper. I thought it was Raja Bell.
That's what he called himself, Kobe Stopper.
I remember those are the good days, man. In my opinion, that was prime NBA.
They had Arvydas Sabonis at center, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, that dude was one of the best passers ever as a center too. He was nasty. I think they had Funderburk there for a little bit. They had some dudes, man. They had a lot of guys. Bonzi Wells, he couldn't get his act together, but man, he could score any time he wanted to. He was just talented. So they had a lot of young guys. They had a young Jermaine O'Neal. They had, a lot of guys. And Ryder, before he got in trouble, he was good.
Yeah, they had Randolph too for a little bit. I don't know if it was the same timeline,
See,
but a little
that's
bit later
crazy.
maybe. But yeah,
Just
they
nuts, man. I mean, Shaq ruined some dreams for some teams, man.
100%, 100%.
But it's all good. He's good for the league. Um, talking about good for the league, we're going to switch it over to the NFL a little bit here. Comments were made in the offseason, obviously, since we did our last pod. The Lions lost. They blew that game. I mean, they did. I love the team. They did blow the lead there. It was a heck of a season. Happy with the season. Wish it was still going on. I feel like they belong in this game, and you never know what happens because they already beat the Chiefs this past year. Now, was not the same Chiefs team that's out there right now. That is for sure, right? They didn't have Chris Jones, and they didn't have Travis Kelce. So those are two big question marks. But Detroit got better because they started giving the ball more to Jahmyr Gibbs. He did have a fumble in the playoff there, but listen, this man is a beast. He's a rookie. Just a moment. But Brad Holmes came out and said that to Lions fans that it's going to get better. He says it's only going to get better, speaking to Lions fans. And really what I got from that, and this is his actually words, this is what I want to tell all our fans. Look, it's only going to get better, Holmes said, okay? We're only going to get better, all right? I don't want anybody to think that this was a one-shot Cinderella magical journey that just happened. No, it's real, all right? This is exactly what was supposed to happen. I got to tell you, Josh, when I heard that, I got pumped up because I'm like, never do you hear a GM come out and be real with his fans. Never. They're just like, oh, we're on to next year. We got to do this and that. That, to me, tells me they're ready to spend, and they got a ton of cap room. I think they're, third, fourth, somewhere around there. Your Colts are in there with the top teams with cap money.
Yeah, I think the Lions got 61 million, 62 million, something like that.
A lot of money. Now, obviously, you got to pay your quarterback, right? So
offensive line's got to be a big issue, too.
It does. It does.
Both their guards are free agents, I believe. Ragnar, I believe, has been considering retirement. So, offensive line now definitely looking a little depleted.
Well, and that's the thing with an offensive line. When you get a core like that, you only got so many years, man. So, and those guys take a beating, and Ragnar was beat up. I mean, that guy was awesome. But I tell you what, in my opinion, what I do is I'm going to put the tag on Goff. I'm going to tag him, okay? And I'm going to say, listen, we believe in you. We like you a lot, but I need you to do this again. I need to see a full season of this again. It's not that we don't believe in you. We're just trying to do the best for the team here. If we're going to make a long-term investment, I need to see a little bit more, and he's had good years in the NFL, but I think you got to tag him and spend some money. Like you said, you got to spend money also on the defensive line as well. Got to. I know you're going to draft somebody, but you got Okwara, who's a free agent. I think he's at least somebody you think about bringing in as far as a rotation guy. But then you got your receivers. You got to fill a receiver gap there. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I let him walk. I don't think he was that good for us. Maybe because they didn't look his way. But also you got Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
That's a big one. For me, and Reeves Maven on special teams, which he's a great special teams player. He is. Say what you want, man. He made plays. He did.
Yeah, but my issue is, though, is he finds himself at linebacker way too often over Rodrigo. I don't like it.
Yeah, and Rodrigo got in the game and got a pick. So, right?
Right.
Played good. I mean, so you're going to have to start making some decisions like that. They're going to get a little bit tougher. This is why it's so hard to be consistently winners in the NFL. I mean, it's tough because you got to have somebody in there that can really play the game of with the cap and figure out how to do that. And Detroit is not going to be one of those teams like Dallas that's going to spend all this money and go over the cap and pay it. They're not doing that. They're not going to do that. They have to rely on drafting good and bringing in guys because people want to be part of this culture.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, starting with the draft though, too. I mean, you gotta nail that first round pick, and there's two guys that I would personally love to see them draft with that 29th overall pick. Braylon Trice out of Washington, he's an edge. He's one of them for sure that I would definitely
big guy.
On. Yeah, big guy, quick too, quick first step too. Would definitely take some pressure off of Hutch there, and then Cooper, the DB out of Iowa.
Oh wow, I like him. Hey, listen, fun fact, man. since Jason Sehorn hasn't been a white dude at corner, this dude can play.
He can play.
He can play, and he can return.
I've seen both of those guys I just mentioned and mocked anywhere from 24 to 32. So there's a possibility one of those guys are still on the board at 29 for the Lions.
I like that. Listen, he is a player. If people don't know who that man is, they need to look him up because he's a heck of a player. If I'm thinking, I would like to have somebody on that line for sure, for the Lions to bring in, but also I think you have to bring in, like you said, a corner. Have to, because we were exposed. I mean, we were exposed.
Another name I've seen falling down draft board, which I'm kind of surprised he's this low, is Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's been anywhere between like 26 and 30, 31.
Kool-Aid has been mocked to us as well. I've seen some drafts that said, they could go after Keon Coleman. I don't want to do that. I think you got too many holes. I think you stay away from offense in the first round. You have to. I think you can put some guys in there. We could probably sign some guys. I mean, I tell you what, I know he's not going to leave there, but I would love to have Mike Evans here. I'd love to have him here. I mean, who wouldn't? But, it would just be nice to have a guy like that here. Another guy, Byron Murphy out of Texas. Wouldn't hate him. Wouldn't hate that at all.
Who's the one guy? Who's the one guy you're hoping falls?
The one guy that I hope that I could see fall.
No, that you hope falls. That the Lions have a chance at getting.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, if I'm being honest, I know he's not going to fall to us, but Alabama edge rusher Dallas Turner.
Oh yeah, no, he's going top 5.
He probably is, but if they could get somebody like that, if I'm being realistic though, I mean, you already said Kool-Aid. We drafted a couple guys from there. Right.
Yeah, realistically, though, there's a guy that's been mocked between like 15 and 20. I would love to see him fall. He's
Jared Verse.
He's from Penn State. And that's Chop Robinson.
Okay, I know that name too. I mean, it would be man. Honestly, dude, even Nate Wiggins from Clemson as well. Another good corner. I like him. That's the thing in terms of quarterback. There's a couple dudes. It's not super deep there, but defense, dude, there's a lot of guys in this draft, a lot of guys. And I think you're going to see quite a bit. Now, I also, just because we're talking about it, I saw J.J. McCarthy is anywhere from, like the top 5 and 25, yeah. Right? Well, I saw that top 5. And then most drafts are saying 17 to 25. Yeah. Now, top 5, I think is an absolute joke personally. And I love JJ, but I don't think he's ready for there. You told me something crazy the other day. Some dude writing for Sports Illustrated saying that Harbaugh, who by the way just took our defensive coordinator and our D-line coach, unfortunately, but saying that they could make a change at quarterback. I gotta tell you, that's absolutely stupid if he does that. That's a young quarterback. They hasn't paid a contract yet. He's still in that rookie deal. I mean, you got to.
How do you pay them though when their hands are already tied though?
Well, you got to get rid of guys
with their cap situation.
You get rid of Bosa. You get rid of Allen.
So the easiest thing to do, in my opinion, is you don't sign him. Is you literally trade him somewhere via sign and trade.
Man, this dude is one of the best in the game.
I 100% agree, but it's Harbaugh we're talking about. The dude's off his rocker.
No, he's crazy for sure. and you feel like he might want JJ there or something.
Because they do have a nice solid roster. They have pieces in place, to kind of compete. And what's the most friendly contract in the NFL? It's a rookie quarterback. Jeez, you're going to have him for potentially 4 or 5 years. So, it does make sense, but I do agree. Herbert's probably top 5 quarterback.
Has to be.
So it'd be hard to move on from him. But I mean, again, it is Jim Harbaugh, and he does, he has his guys, and if he wants them there, he's going to make it happen.
And the thing is, and I know we agree on this, not wanting to him trade that. We would never do this, but this is Jim Harbaugh. The thing is he's totally been mismanaged as well. He's had bad coaching there. Jim Harbaugh is a great quarterback coach. He's a great quarterback coach. So it's like you think he would look at that. I mean, he at his press conference he said, "Oh, he was starstruck." Justin Herbert. But you never know if he's being real with you or he's just giving you words.
Right, but let's also remember though too, throughout the course of Herbert's 3-4 years in the NFL so far, like name me a year that their offense has been healthy. Mike Williams has been injured a year. Keenan Allen's been injured.
Mike Williams,
like,
I'm leaving.
You know what
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I
so
get
like,
you.
We have yet to see this roster for the Chargers at full strength to see what Herbert can actually do with a full schedule.
No, agreed. Which is another reason why I do not let that guy get out. I'm curious. I don't know if you can pull up his contract, but he's got to have at least 2 more years, I would think, of on that rookie deal, right? I believe you get 5 years on that rookie deal? Maybe it's 4.
Yeah, 4 or 5
okay,
years.
so 4. Maybe he's been in 3 years. I don't know, but I just feel
no, Justin was paid.
Oh, he's already been paid?
Yeah, this was an article back in July of 23. 5-year deal, $262.5 million.
Okay, well,
keeps him with the franchise through 2029.
Well, there's another reason why they could trade him. Like, I guess that makes it even stronger, right? Because now you're not even on a rookie deal; you're being paid. So, if you're not winning Super Bowls, anyone can be traded. We've seen it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, there are a few untouchables in this league. I think in terms of the quarterback, we know the guys that'll never be traded, right? You're never going to see Patrick Mahomes traded, ever. Joe Burrow. I mean,
Jackson.
Josh Allen, I don't know. I would say no, but
they're not trading Josh Allen.
I know, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, okay, well, he makes a lot of turnovers.
He's got a lot to prove for sure, but he's not.
Yeah. So there's guys. My point is that are, but Herbert's never. Has he even won a playoff game?
No. Like last time Friday, the only time he was in the playoff, they gave up that 30-point lead and lost to the Jags.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. They should have won that game. That was bad. But anyways, yeah, so there's that. But hey, let's get into some Tiger talk. We got about 15 minutes left here, and we're going to need it because there's a lot going on with the Tigers. I know that you're excited. That catchers and pitchers are going to report here real soon.
I'm just excited for baseball season, baby.
Dude, I love it. I love it. Now, I want to do a little deep dive on some of these transactions that Detroit has made. And I honestly want to start with the move they made the other day, which would go under the radar if you're not a big Tigers fan. But you were sending me a message. Yeah, Ingram. I mean,
Ingram,
the Colton Ingram. We'll start there first. This is a guy that I'm like, man, they're going to take a chance on a guy that just is filthy. 30% strikeout rate, had an ERA under 3 last year in the minors. And I know he didn't have a great, season with the Angels or whatever, but say what you want. Their defense is terrible. He was only like 5 innings or whatever, but
it was 5 1/3, 7 runs.
But that's a guy you take a chance on. And I'm happy that they got the proper analytic guys in there. Because I love that.
I love the move as well. My one concern with him is he's only $185, and
that's gonna hurt.
What are those skinny guys? What are those skinny guys known for? Tommy John.
And honestly, what are pitchers in the Tiger system known for? Tommy John. It happened a lot. Now a lot of that was Avila, but one of the caveats of that deal I did not like, Josh, was they gave up on Nick Maton and they designated him for assignment. Now, he had a putrid year last year, but he's got a lot of pop. And I hated doing that because you can put him anywhere in the infield. You can play some outfield, too.
The biggest hole the Tigers have is third base, and he's literally a third baseman.
I would have penciled him in. I mean, yeah, he only had 8 homers last year, 30 RBIs. He was up and down from the minors. He hit for the cycle in AAA. He can hit, man. He can hit. He just had a bad season. We've seen it. It happens with guys, right? You have up and down years. It could have been injury, but they got rid of him and didn't love that because he was supposed to be Matt Vierling came in that deal, but Vierling, in my opinion, was like, okay, he's fast, but he's only going to hit like 260, 250.
Well, it's funny you mentioned him, though, because I was looking up their stats a little bit ago, probably about an hour ago, and he actually led the team in hitting last year at 261.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying around 250, 260, that shouldn't lead a team. So, anyways, that's the other guy, but he's got, like, no power. So, And Maton, in my opinion, that was the more appealing guy that we got in that deal. And obviously we traded, help me out, closer, Soto.
Oh yeah, Gregory Soto, yeah.
But one of the deals I really did like that they made this offseason is and a lot of people might not like it, but they signed Cole Keith. He got a 6-year deal. He's never played in the major leagues, but this is that new organization that the new general manager that came in here. That's like the Tampa Bay Rays style of things. You sign guys before they get too expensive for your team, right? Longoria, first guy they did that with, right? I think they signed Franco, who might never play again, but I think he was signed as well. They do that with guys, and Colt Keith has done nothing but rake. He's been a great hitter. I loved it. Your thoughts?
No, I 100% agree. I mean, look at the Rays' success, over
Yeah.
the past 10 years or so. Like, they're a consistent playoff team. I mean, obviously, they haven't done anything or much of anything. But, yeah, no, locking up your studs like that, very, 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 very friendly deal.
Yeah.
Is how you succeed in a professional sport.
Yeah.
So you can bring in, other assets, which the Tigers desperately need, specifically being a third baseman.
Yeah, I love that. Another team that does that, Ozzy Albies got paid like he got a rip-off deal. He didn't get like any money, and then they went and gave Acuna like his own island, So I was like, if I'm Ozzy Albies, I'm not too happy about that. But let's look at some of these other deals. Some of the deals that don't really move the needle too much. Jose Alvarez signed a minor league contract. He pitched there a few years back. He's actually had a decent career as a reliever. Casey Mize avoided arbitration. Tyler Nevin designated for assignment. Thank you. He's garbage. He is nothing like his dad. He's bad. The one I did not like is this. I'll give you one that I did like and then one I didn't like, and then maybe you can give me a couple, okay? Here's one that I didn't like. Akil Baddoo. Signed him, avoiding arbitration.
Like it?
I don't like him.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't like Akil Baddoo at all. I think it was time to turn the page. I don't like his bat. I don't care if he can run. I think he's a scrub. I really don't like his game at all. And the one that I did like, Tarek Skubal. Dude, he is a star in the making. He was the best pitcher for like 3 months of the season with the Tigers. So they avoid arbitration with him.
He had the best ERA in all of baseball the second half.
Right. And they avoided arbitration and they signed him, kept him there.
He's still a pretty young guy himself too. So
yeah,
I definitely like that as well.
So give me a couple you like, maybe a couple you don't like.
Well, the one thing that I'm seeing right here that I do like, he's already on the roster, but I'm seeing that Jackson Jobe was invited to non-roster spring training. So that's
I love it.
That's huge, being able to be in front of the front office to actually showcase yourself.
He was great last year in the minors.
Yeah, the kid's an absolute stud. So if he can prove himself there, I mean, that's definitely something to watch out for.
Yep, big on that one.
Then also, dude, I really like Jace Jung. I like him.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. Yeah,
I like Jace Jung a lot.
What about Jack Flaherty? What were your thoughts on that?
Again, I mean, obviously pitching was a big need for us.
High ERA, man.
For the Tigers, I mean, he did get a lot of run support with the Orioles last year. I mean, obviously the Tigers don't have that type of offense as the Orioles do, so I'm kind of skeptical on that to see if he's actually a good pitcher or if it was more of he won 7-6 type of ball games, giving up 5 runs. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, his ERA was in the 5s, so. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and he's probably gonna be penciled in to probably be our number 2 to start the year behind Screwball.
He has to be.
Who knows about Mize and his current situation with injuries, and then
yeah,
Manny who ended the year last year with injuries, and I mean,
yeah.
After that, there's really not much there. I mean, I do like Reese Olson. He had a very solid year, in his starts that he had. I feel like, but yeah, I mean, Tigers pitching is definitely
It's a
not
little
no,
it's not. Let me give you some names and just say if you like it or love it, okay? And we'll just go through a few that they've signed. Shelby Miller.
I like Shelby out of the bullpen. I do like Shelby.
Andrew Chafin.
I mean, you always need a lefty, so I mean, I do like it.
Garrett Hill.
No.
Kenta Maeda.
7-8 years ago, sure. No, now.
They let go Spencer Turnbull.
I wasn't surprised by that. I do think the kid has talent, but yeah, I wasn't surprised by that.
Yeah, it's a bummer because, he had Tommy John, and before that, he threw a no-hitter that season. He was really starting to come to his own. Rony Garcia declared for free agency. I'm okay with that. Goodbye. Andrew Vasquez, he signed a minor league deal with Detroit. Vasquez is a guy that we got from the Phillies last year. His ERA was pretty good. When he came to Detroit, it just ballooned. He only throws like 90, 91 mile an hour. I just don't think if you don't have a fastball that's 95, 96, I don't know if you can pitch in today's game.
Yeah, no, your fastball's got to be at least mid-90s.
Right?
I mean, with your breaking ball probably being like 86 to 88 range.
The sad story, Austin Meadows, he is a free agent. He just never played, man. He had those anxiety issues, and I hate that, because the guy that was going to be a big trade for us.
No, yeah, the dude has 30 home run potential for sure. But I definitely understand what he's going through as someone who has anxiety himself.
Yeah.
It's definitely nothing to play with, when it comes to the mental health thing. So, again, it was probably tough for him to walk away from a game that he loved, but, breathing and living to live is more important than a game.
100%. And now let's play a game here, okay? I want you to give me a pitcher and a hitter that you would like to see sign with or have the Tigers go after. I'll give you mine first, okay? Number one, I'd like to see Trevor Bauer picked up. I think he needs an opportunity, and I think if he came here, if he does well, we could trade him at the deadline. Or sign him. I'm good with either one. I think that would be huge. It would also be huge if they could get some pop in this lineup. I'm not thinking they're going to get Bellinger. That's just not going to happen. Maybe a Jorge Soler or something. Thoughts?
I mean, okay. I don't really think they need the outfield help, but you can
DH.
DH, I guess, but that's where Carpenter has been playing a lot.
He can play some outfield, though. He's not totally useless out there. He's not good.
No, I get it, though, but you got Mark Canha, you got Meadows, you're going to be out there every day. You got Riley Green out there every day.
Mark Canha's going to be penciled in a lot because he can hit from the left side. He's the only, he's going to play a lot, and I don't like that. I don't like Mark Canha.
Yeah, for a team that's rebuilding, I agree. But he like you said, he's a solid bat. But I definitely agree with you there when it comes to Trevor Bauer. The dude still throws heat.
He's throwing 100.
even being out of baseball, really the MLB for years.
Yeah. Yep.
But no, another guy that I really want, the Cubs to grab, but the Tigers could use him as well. That's Matt Chapman.
Oh, man. Matt Chapman. I don't understand how he's not signed. He's got a gold glove, and he can hit you 30 homers.
You pencil Matt Chapman in behind the likes of, say, Riley Green leading off, Carpenter in the 2-hole, Torque in the 3-hole. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Chapman in the 4, Baez in the 5, Meadows in the 6. There's a lot of talent there.
Yeah, I also, by the way, this is worth a laugh. There was Gary Sanchez signed with the Brewers today. Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez hit 19 homers, believe it or not, last year.
Yeah.
But he hit 215. To me, that's Jake Rogers. He had 21 homers last season. But he hit 200. So literally 205. Let's take a look at the Tigers' projected lineup here, okay? And this is an article from The Athletic, so don't.
It's Colt Keith penciled at second base.
We'll see, but it doesn't put them in order. It just says who they believe will be starter. Okay, you're gonna hate this one. At catcher, they're saying Jake Rogers. Because he hit 205 with 13 homers last year. No, that's his projection. He hit 21 homers last year. So his projection's pretty bad. Now, at number 2 here, we got at Spencer Torkelson at first base. Now, I tell you what, Spencer Torkelson, if he has the year that I believe that he can have, watch out. Watch out, man, because he can hit 40 home runs. What do you think about Spencer?
No, yeah, I said coming out of college a few years ago that I thought he had 30 to 40 home run potential. I would like to see him become more of a complete hitter, honestly. I mean, that 233 average definitely needs to come up to like 260, 270 to really make teams fear him. But
Yeah,
he's got the potential. I mean, it's a nice year to build on 31 home runs, 94 RBIs. So
I mean, I like it a lot. I definitely think he can do some big things there. And then, of course, they have Colt Keith at second base.
boom, yes, sir. I literally wrote down the lineup. This was my projected lineup right here, Dave.
You got Colt Keith in there?
I'm 3 for 3 so far.
All right, give me the rest of your lineup. I'm curious to see, and then I'll put it up against this.
Baez at short, obviously. You paid the man.
Unfortunately.
Just based on what the roster has right now, probably Matt Whirling at third.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jace Jung up, but yeah, you're probably right.
I agree 100%. If we get Jace Jung up, I would definitely pencil him there. But with Verling being the experience, I would see him there. Who do they have penciled in there at third?
They have it's right now it's open, but they have possible free agent signing, but they also somebody coming up from the minors. Or Veerling. So it looks like it's
so Jace Jung or Verling, right?
Yeah, it's.
I put Verling just because of the experience in the majors, but
yep.
And then obviously your outfield is going to be Meadows, Green, and Canna, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they said out here that don't be surprised if Justin Henry Malloy, makes the team as the fourth outfielder. I don't really like that because I want him getting at bats in the minors. So I just put a scrub on the bench. Some dude, Henry Malloy, he needs to get some time.
Put him on the bench.
Man, you got problems with that guy, and I just it's personal with him. You just don't like Pete Crow Armstrong. Listen, here's Justin Henry Malloy's numbers last year: 23 homers, hit 277, 83 RBIs, 22 doubles.
Was he AAA or AA?
He's AAA.
AAA, so he's Mud-Hens.
I like that. I mean, listen, baseball, so most of your stars are in AA. I mean, right. Most of them,
that's why I asked.
Yeah, so most of your stars are in AA. AAA, I mean, you got guys that are not good enough to make the majors. 4A guys.
Going back to the third base debate, though, for a second, right quick. There's another guy that I really want to see on this team because when he got on the field last year and he got at bats, he actually showed pretty well, and that's Zach Short.
Yeah, I don't think they tendered him. I think he's gone. So I think they actually traded him.
He's still on their roster, so
I think
according to ESPN, he was still on the roster.
No, he's on the Mets now.
Is he?
Yeah, they
that's stupid letting him go because he definitely filled in well for a struggling hobby last year.
Well, he hit 204 with 7 homers.
And I was gonna say I went to 3 games last. Well, I went to more than 3 games.
He probably just hit homers in every game.
Of the 3 games that I went to, he hit a home run every single game.
Trivia: he drafted in the 17th round in the 2016 draft out of Sacred Heart. By who?
Zach Short.
Yeah.
The Cubs.
Oh, you knew that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Zach Short. So he's 28 years old, man, but he can play short, second, third.
That's what I'm saying. He was a nice utility guy. He's literally.
I don't hate it.
He was literally this team's Ramon Santiago.
Yeah, maybe better, right? So.
Oh, right. But I'm just saying, the versatility.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see. And then you look at Tigers pitching staff. I'm really kind of concerned with the starting pitchers of this team, to be honest with you, just because there's a lot of question marks.
Yeah,
there's a lot of question marks.
You got Flaherty, Scrubble, Maeda, Reese Olson, Mize, Manning.
I mean, I do like what Manning did last year. He came back from that injury and he was pitching lights out. He was. Yeah. So him and Scooble, maybe there's something there. Scooble, there's for sure something there.
Oh, yeah,
Man, I would really, really, really love to see something from some of these guys him out of any of them. Got to have something.
Number one pick. To me, this is a make or break year for my eyes.
Oh, it is.
You've been injured for 3 straight years. You got to show me. You got to show me your number one stuff.
Look at the kid though from Kansas City. He ain't done anything either. You know what I'm talking about? Royals pitcher. They drafted him around the same time. I can't remember.
I was going to say, baseball players go to Kansas City to die, so I'm not surprised about nothing.
Yeah,
they're in Oakland.
Well, anyways, but I did see an article also. This is just really quick. Zach Greinke doesn't want to retire, but reunion with Royals seems unlikely. It's like, I'm not signing Zach Greinke.
No, he hasn't been good in, I don't know, 5 years, 7 years.
Yeah, and they just did Bobby Witt $288 million. You'll never. I thought I would never see a team like the Royals sign a guy to that much money, but I guess
he has an opt-out clause after year 7, I believe, and they can extend him up to 3 years for an additional $89 million.
Well, there's always an opt-out, right? If you're smart.
Which to me is crazy. That's undervalued for a guy like Bobby Witt.
Yeah, of course it is, but short term, right? He's getting paid, right? So of course, right. It's money's only going to go up. But
I was gonna say, as a young kid in their 20s, you know what I mean? You see hundreds of millions of dollars, you're gonna sign on the dotted line every time.
Oh, every single time. All right, brother. Well, we're around that 40-minute mark. We're going to cut it short here, but I know we'll be back on Saturday. I'd like to do more of a deep dive on the Tigers minor league system if we can, because they were voted as having one of the top minor league organizations in the game of baseball, and I think they're up like 12 spots from where they were last year, which is just amazing.
Yeah. I've seen a list. I believe they were top 6, top 5.
Which that tells you something, and it's not just like it was in the past where it was like, oh, the Tigers have a great minor league system, and they have like 3 guys that are like top 5, and then they have nobody else.
Nothing.
They got depth.
They got 6 guys in the top 100, I believe, 9 in the top 150.
Yeah, they got a lot of good players down there. I want to do a deep dive, and we need to do that. So maybe we'll make Saturday's show literally all about that. We do want to talk about the Super Bowl. We have to do that, right? There's no Detroit teams in there, but we gotta. There should be, right? But Dan Campbell doesn't. He doesn't kick field goals. I won't say he doesn't know how to coach. He doesn't know how to kick field goals, though.
Which is part of coaching.
Yeah, well, he took the team to a great place, and they hadn't been there in years. But that's neither here nor there. A
greater place called the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no one's perfect. I'll give him a pass. But that's it. So we'll be back on Saturday. Josh, anything from you before we go?
No, sir.
It's time to eat, man. Let's go eat. Peace.
Right. It's time for bed for me.
Peace, man.
Brother.